Now Snowball's going to read some Dwemer stuff. Snowball thinks finding out about those weird things that made the caves will lead Snowball to find more stuff. Collected Essays on Dwemer History and Culture, Chapter 1. Bar Soul and the Trivialization of the Dwemer in Popular Culture by Hasafat Entabalis. While Marrowbar Sol's ancient tales of the Dwemer was definitely debunked in scholarly circles as early as the reign of Catharith I, it remains one of the staples of the literate middle class of the empire, and has served to set the image of the Dwemer in the popular imagination for generations of school children. What about this lengthy but curiously insubstantial tome has proved so captivating to the public that it has been able to see off both the scorn of the illiterati and the scathing critics of the scholars? Snowball thinks you're just using big words to sound big. Before examining this question, a brief summary of the province and subsequent career of ancient tales would be appropriate. First published around 2E 670 in the Interregnum between the fall of the Frost. Okay, that says first. Why did I say Frost? In the interim between the fall of the first Cyrodiilic Empire, I said Frost again, and the rise of Tiber Septim. It was originally presented as serious scholarly work based on research in the archives of the University of Gwynlim. You know, the Spider-Man girlfriend that got killed by accident. Gwynlim, and in the chaos of that era was taken at face value, a sign of the sad state of Dwemer scholarship in those years. Little is known of the author, but Marrowbar Sol was most likely a pseudonym of Gore Philim. Like anyone would know the difference. A prolific writer of penny dreadful romances of that era, who is known to have used many other pseudonyms, while most of Philim's other work has thankfully been lost to history. What little survives matches ancient tales in both language and tone. See Loomis' textual comparison of Gore Philim's A Hypothetical Treachery with Marrowbar Sol's Ancient Tales of the Dwemer. That is a very long title. Philim lived in Cyrodiil his whole life, writing light entertainments for the elite of the old imperial capital. Why he decided to turn his hand to the Dwemer is unknown. Unexploited market. But it is clear that his research consisted of nothing more than collecting the peasants' tales of the Nyabeni Valley and recasting them in Dwemer guise. The book proved popular in Cyrodiil, and Philim continued to churn out more volumes until the series numbered 7 in all. Ancient Tales of the Dwemer was thus. firmly established as a local favorite in Cyrodiil, already in its 17th printing, when the historical facts that propelled Tiber Septim to prominence also began to spread the literature of the heartland across the continent. Merobar Sull's version of the Dwemer was seized upon in a surge of human radical nationalism that has not yet subsided. The Dwemer appear in these tales as creatures of fable and light fantasy, but in general they are just like us. They come across as a bit eccentric, perhaps, but certainly there is nothing fearsome or dangerous about them. Compare these to the Dwemer of early Redguard legend, a mysterious, powerful race, capable of bending the very laws of nature to their will. Vanished, but perhaps not gone. Or the Dwemer portrayed in the most ancient Nord sagas, fearsome warriors tainted by blasphemous religious practices, who use their profane mechanisms to drive the Nords from Morrowind. Merobar Sull's Dwemer were much more amiable to the spirit of the time, which saw humans as the pinnacle of creation, and the other races as unenlightened barbarians or imperfect, lesser versions of humans eager for tutelage. Snowball feels insulted. Ancient Tales falls firmly in the latter camp, which does much to explain its enduring hold on the popular imagination. Merobar Sull's Dwemer are so much more comfortable, so much more friendlier, so much more familiar than the real Dwemer. Those, what am I saying those for? Whose truly mysterious nature we are only beginning to understand. The public prefers the light, trivial version of this banished race, and from what I have learned in my years of studying the Dwemer, I have some sympathy for that preference, as the following essays will show the Dwemer were to modern eyes a remarkably unlikable people in many ways. They were dicks. Snowball is a little insulted by a few of these lines. By Hasaphat Antibolis. Collected Essays on Dwemer History and Culture. Chapter 1. Dwemer Inquiries. Now Snowball thinks he doesn't have all the Dwemer inquiries. Snowball might have to read what he has here and then go find others. Either way, have a good day. Bye-bye.